Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Guess what? You know who this is. I am E. Jean Pemberton Jones, the owner of Enda's BOOKtique. You can't say that 100 times in a row. I know because my name is tricky. Well, I am here on a day that's typically a day that we are all relaxing, but I am so very excited because I'm having the time of my life being in great company with some amazing and wonderful women. Before we get started, I want you to make sure that you get in here. I want you to post this. I want you to forward this to everyone that you know, tag folks, tell them that I am live on Facebook, and I'm going to forward it myself right now so that everyone who is connected to me, all of my wonderful friends on Facebook, and I know I have way too many, I need everybody to get in here and hang out with us. Today is a great day. I love going live with some amazing women. You know, I'm always seeking to find women, and I don't have to look far, women who are doing amazing things. And the platform of our bookstore is just that. The purpose of the bookstore is to celebrate women, is to tell the stories about women who do amazing things in our community. And just being a female is just amazing in its own right. So today joining me are wonderful women throughout, I don't even want to say just in Texas, they're in all different places of the, and there's the sound. Women who are doing some great things in Texas, great things. Those who are from Louisiana, though she's here in Texas. And then we got some Midwesterners, which I'm loving that as well. And so they're going to talk about something that is great, and it's a new project that's being released. So what I want to do is first introduce you to the person who is the vision behind this amazing project. Her name is Dr. Sherry Walton, and just getting to read about her information, the things that she does, the things that she has already done in her life, and where she is headed in her direction. And I'm going to tell you this, if you don't know her, you need to know her, okay? You need to Google her. You need to be her Facebook friend. You need to follow her on all of her social medias. You need to find out who she is. You need to follow her. You need to see how she's doing, what she's doing, because though she is a boss and a baller, she is a kind and compassionate person. I just met her 5 minutes ago, but I read all of her information, and I can tell that she genuinely loves what she does. And that's to give and provide a platform so that other women are successful. So I want Dr. Sherry to open up her mic and introduce herself and talk a little bit about who she is and give a little bit about your background.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for allowing us to be on your amazing platform. We're always humbled. I'm always humbled when people are willing to share their audience and allow us to come into their world. So, Ms. Jean, thank you so much for having us tonight. You've pretty much put it in a nutshell. And the ladies will tell you, I'm not one to just talk about a full bio and that sort of thing, but my heart and my passion is to impact the lives of women all around the world. I have a passion for moms. You know, I started as a mom 12 years ago. I'm a mom of 3. And it was through my journey of becoming a mother that I discovered myself. So within that, I've decided to just find other women, like-minded women who probably have not told their story as of yet, just coming together to tell the story to impact more people. So this is what we're doing with this Power Mom movement. I'm so excited about it. I'm excited to be the visionary, but more importantly, the vessel. Right? Because everybody knows those that are in the front line. I tell you, people all the time, we take the most hits, right? We probably have the most battle scars, but it's for a time like this to come together with other women and say, you know what? I want to help you. It's not just about my story, but how can I help you tell your story? So that's why I'm here today.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do, Dr. Sherry. While you were talking, I'm going to let you introduce each person and tell me why you made a decision to bring them to be part of your project. So first, talk about your project, and then just go ahead and call the roll.
Awesome. So our name of our book is Power Moms 3.0. we are telling the story of power through the lenses of powerful women of faith. And it's a story, a compilation book of 9 women that have come together from various backgrounds. As you mentioned earlier, some of us are from the Texas area. We have Louisiana, we have Ohio, we have, I almost said Kansas City, close to Missouri as possible. So we have women from all over, and this is not limited to a particular region. This is, this is a movement. So when I spoke with each and every one of them, they all had something special about them. The main thing, with the exception of one, they hadn't told their story yet. So I'll introduce each one of them, and I'm going to slide my screen here so I can see everybody one by one. I'm going to start first with Miss Alessi Johnson. We always say she is the baby of the group, but she's not a baby, but our baby of the group. And what I loved about her was her vibrant personality. At the time when she and I connected, she knew another Power Mom for Power Moms, the first version of Power Moms, because this is our 3rd version. And she's just so bubbly. I do interviews before I bring women on, and when I spoke with her, we just immediately connected. She was just telling me about some of the things that she had endured, and she was an old soul, like at such a young age, she had endured quite a bit. And I said, you know what, you have a story to tell. I want you to tell it. I want to put you on this platform with us. And she's been carrying us. She's the connection tonight. So I'm just so honored to be with her. Dr. Linda Bell. So we go from the youngest to the oldest of the group. I always say she when I say firecracker, she is our cheerleader. I always say Dr. Linda's age, and I hope she's never bothered by that, but Dr. Linda is a beautiful 69-year-old. So but Power Mom goes from one extreme, one spectrum to the next. I believe she has so much wisdom. She had encountered so much. We met through a client of mine that's a relative of hers, and after I spoke with her, and she told me about everything she did. She was the first in so many areas, the first Black woman in a lot of areas in Houston. And I was like, you gotta tell your story. So I pulled her along. And then from there, I have Eureka Patton. She is so powerful. Let me tell you, she and I met at a conference, but then when she and I started talking about this, she's the owner of a Massage Envy, her own franchise. And I was just like, okay, you a boss. We need to get to know each other, right? So she and I connected, got on this journey together. She had been through so many things, and I thought she needed to talk about being confident and that sort of thing. So that's what her story is about. You put me on the spot, Ms. Jean, because this is the first time they're hearing me talk about them. So I'm going to keep going down the line. So we have Miss Sandra Hurd. She and I also knew a mutual friend, but didn't know it until we started talking on the phone. What I liked about her is that she wore just as many hats as I did, so she can understand, she could connect. She also had a writer's group. She was in the middle of telling her own story as well. She just came out with her own book. But I said, you know what, can you just give us a snippet of your book? Can you just add a little bit on that topic? Because the topic that she talked about, I knew it was necessary for everyone to read. So she and I came. She's also a minister. So, by the time we were done, I think we preached together for the first 2 hours when we first met. And we've been talking since. Araceli and I, we met through another Power Mom. I met her at an event, but she was so poised, and she was just a very business and very professional. And I was really just attracted to her personality. So I started to ask her more about her story, only to realize that she had endured so much from the inner city of Houston and where she is today. And I was like, you got to tell your story. So she was another one I hooked on in. And then Miss Kanita, she and I met through LinkedIn. I kind of checked her out, and I saw her page, and she and I were talking about projects. She ran from me for a while. I pulled her back on in when I heard her story. I told her I was not going to let her go. So she came on. She's from the funeral industry, but what I love about her is that she's so compassionate about people. So all of these women, there's more that are not on here tonight. Who Shannon, is Shannon on here? Miss Shannon Gooden. So she is our next to youngest, but she's very serious because she's an accountant. So she's about her business, she's about her finances. So she and I came on board, and I told her, after hearing her story, even some of the things that we didn't talk about in the book, she had such an amazing story. And I was like, can you please come on and talk to women that are single mothers, that are going through life and trying to figure things out. So as you can see, each one of them carried something different. And I thought it was so very important, even the women that are not on tonight, I thought it was so important that we lock arms, because it wasn't about just me telling a story, but a story being told through their voices, from their angle. So that's the power moms that are on tonight.
You did a fantastic job. You did an amazing job. Thank you so much. Thank you for introducing everyone. And really what I wanted to do is so that people can understand, why did you make your decision? How did you curate your information and the people that you brought on board to be part of this project? So now I want to ask you this question. You talk about what inspired you to do what you do, and how each lady came to be parts of this particular project. Tell us a little bit about the book.
So the book talks about a lot of different areas, from forgiveness to confidence, finding your voice, understanding that every trauma, every story that you have through your eyes may be traumatic. So how you experience it, how you see it through a new perspective. The book talks about taking us through infidelity, things where you had to forgive a spouse, and we talk about getting outside of your box. So literally each chapter talks about something different. My particular chapter talks about purpose, because that's what I am, on a mission just to help women find their purpose. And when I say find your purpose, you're not just, these are not women that are not successful in life. I realize that the people that are most successful have a hard time actually sitting down long enough to find out what they're supposed to be doing outside of their CEO or their boss role. So I talked about my story of discovering purpose and the pain of pushing that out and what that went through. So each chapter, I believe that each chapter, since it has a different voice, a different face behind it, a different topic behind it, everyone will be able to find something that relates to them.
Right. And I'm glad you talked about that. One of the questions I want to ask is, when you put a project like this together and you want each person to give their story and their theme, at the end of the day, the message behind the book, the audience, what is it that you wanted each reader to gain out of the book itself as a whole?
So the word power, the acronym is persevere, overcome, win, empower, and restore. And what I wanted each person that reads is to understand that there is a process to your power, right? There are things that you're going to have to persevere. There are going to be things that then you have to overcome. You have to win in the areas of places that have probably that you've been held back before. You've experienced some cycles and setbacks, but then once you win, what do you do with it, right? I find people all the time that they have a story. I'm like, okay, so now that you have this story, now what? So do you think you went through these lessons and you learned this not to tell anyone? No, it's about empowering others. So that's what I really wanted the message to be. We're empowering you, but then we're restoring you. We're bringing you back whole again. I believe that women are so often caught up in taking care of everyone else that no one is taking care of them, right? The strong person will put everything on their back, but never get to that part of restoration. And that restoration allows us to fulfill our purpose. Restoration allows us to realize it's not about us, like this project. Because I was able to get to the point of restoration, I can be on a platform with powerful women, each in their own lane, with no competition, no jealousy, no issues, because we all support each other. Because we know if Dr. Linda's shining, that doesn't take away from my shine. If Alessi is shining, that doesn't take away from my shine. So the message that they'll get from this is, I can endure some hard times, but then at the end, I'm going to find a story in my message, and then have some tips and some takeaways to now be able to teach others.
Yeah, I love it. Alessi, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself. The question I want to ask is, as you were approached and asked by Dr. Sherry to participate in this particular project, why did you make a decision to go ahead and move forward with that?
Yes, I made the decision to go forward with this project because I didn't want to miss my moment of saying yes. I think a lot of times we are presented with opportunities, but we're not in the headspace mentally to comprehend exactly where we are, so we don't look at a chance as an opportunity. And also it kind of falls in alignment with my life's purpose of helping another woman, especially young women, particularly women of color, because our communities need to be healed. It's time for healing. And so it challenged me to step outside my comfort zone. And, you know, it was intimidating at first because these are some powerful women, including Dr. Sherry. And, you know, I'm so young, I'm like, oh, I'm not where I want to be just yet. How can I fit in, you know, with these women? But when I thought about the purpose and reaching out to another young woman, another young mother, you know, I was like, if I don't do it now, then I might miss this moment. So that's why I jumped on board.
Right. So let everyone know where you're from and what you do, and you're a mother of how many children?
Sure. Again, my name's Alessi Johnson. I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I currently reside in Texas, in Arlington. I say home of the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. I'm the mother of one child. She is 4 years old. Her name is Haven, as you can see back here. And professionally, what I do, I'm a career coach right now, working for a nonprofit organization, and I help underprivileged and underserved women and men find employment through providing them with resources and financial coaching, and with career coaching as well.
Love it. I love it. So one of the things that Dr. Sherry talked about, she gave a couple of nuggets, and I was taking my notes like a student in class. One of the things she asked was, there's a process to your power. So as you began to write this book, I would like for you to share just what was your process in writing this book, and what was the most challenging part? You talked about just joining into the collaboration, the challenges of you being young, but as you began to find exposure to your own message, what was challenging for you when you was writing this information and developing your own chapter?
Right. For me, when it came to developing, I had to first see what I wanted to get across. And when we all touch on touchy topics in our book. And so at first I began in rage, and then I had to reel myself back in. And so I kind of went through a process of rage, grief, a lot of emotions. But then I had to narrow it down and stick to my focus. And the focus of, you know, what do I want to accomplish in this chapter? Because it's not about attacking anyone. We all don't want to attack anyone in this book or anything like that. It's just to kind of tell our story. And in my chapter, I hit on unaddressed trauma. When you go and you don't deal with that trauma, how it can lead into other areas of your life, and then you then become silent because of that. And so what I do is encourage other women and readers that are reading this book to how to regain your power, how to process those emotions that you're feeling, to validate and give that emotion validation, but also the steps to your own healing.
I love that. And I'm glad you talk about enraged and all of those emotional feelings. And so your particular chapter, the message you wanted to send off, and the focus on your chapter is what, and we don't want to give out too many of the nuggets because we want them to read, of course, but your particular chapter deals with what?
It deals with unaddressed trauma and how to process that trauma, knowing that it's okay to be in a broken state. But my takeaway is, and what I want readers to get from my chapter is that it is okay to be broken, but I don't want you to stay there. Don't stay there long.
Right.
You know, address what you need to address, forgive who you need to forgive, in order for you to regain your power back so that you can be who you were called and meant to be.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Welcome.
Miss Eureka. Hi there. So I have a question for you, Eureka, and go ahead and unmute yourself. You working on it? There we go. So my question for you is, Dr. Sherry talked about overcoming to win. And then once you win, after winning, what's next? So she asked you to be part of this project.
Mhm.
Obviously, you're a winner because she wouldn't have brought you to be part of this team because she didn't bring any losers to the team. All of you all are winners. But she made that statement. And my question to you is, after winning, what's next? Did you see this as part of your what's next when you were moving forward with the things that you were doing in your life when you were asked to be part of this project? And if so, why?
Okay, yes. Actually, I am working with Dr. Sherry on my personal book.
Mhm.
And that I was working on that book when she brought up this book, Power Mom. And my personal book is about Accelerating Women, which is the name of my nonprofit organization. So when we were writing Accelerating Women, she brought up the Power Mom project, and I was like, yes, I want to be a part of that. But the reason that I wanted to be a part of that was because I believe that my personal book, as well as the Power Mom book, would just help fulfill my purpose that I have for my women's organization, Accelerating Women.
All right. Now, where you?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Where are you located, and how many children do you have?
I have two boys, well, two sons, two men. They're grown. I have two boys, 23 and 25 years old. But originally, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, but I currently live in Katy, Texas.
Okay, fantastic. So for you as a mother of boys, especially with what we see that's going on now, and of course sons, I understand I'm a mother of grown children as well. I have boys. But what you see that's going on in the world today as a mother of sons, and you wrote this chapter, and what I would like for you to do is really talk a little bit about the theme of your chapter and your feelings as relates to being a mother of boys in this United States that we're living in today, and some of your concerns.
Well, my chapter is about being a confident woman. And the reason I chose to write my chapter on being a confident woman is because I run into women quite often. I have personal friends that tend to lack in confidence. And a lot of times it's because of relationships that they're in that confidence is lost. You know, maybe they had it at one point and they, lose it. But that's what I chose to write about, is us being able to retain that confidence throughout. And I don't think that you have to feel that you can't be confident and be in relationships. But also being a confident woman, is not necessarily just because you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, but you just need to be a confident woman regardless, because I think when you're confident, you walk, talk different. And I think you attract more when you're a confident woman.
Exactly.
Is that word.
Yes. And that's important, being a mother of boys. Of course, daughters as well, but that sets the stage for being a mother of boys. And so you're a mother of sons.
Yes.
Do you have any thoughts about that? Any concerns as relates to being in the world that we're living in today? Some of the things that have been going on, of course, for it's always been going on, but
Yes.
especially right now with so much happening, being a mother of African-American sons, the talk as they talk about that we have with our kids. What are your thoughts and your concerns as relates to that, being a mom?
Well, my thoughts is that, I have conversations with my sons all the time. We have a good relationship. They're free to come talk to me about any subject matter that they feel, and I share with them as well my concerns for them as young Black men. I share with them, if you're out and about and get stopped, these are the things that you don't do, and this is what you do, because it can change so quickly from something so innocent and then it turned out to be detrimental. So I just try to give them advice from that standpoint to know that you're African American, know that these are the things that could happen to you if you act in a way that, somebody feel is a threatening thing to them.
Right. Right. Absolutely. If you all are just joining us, thank you so much for joining. We are having an amazing conversation with some wonderful women who are co-authors of a great book titled Power Moms 3.0, let me say that correctly. And we're definitely going to let you know how you can get a copy of the book. Dr. Sherry is the visionary of this book, and we have wonderful women who are joining us that are part of this project. And they are sharing just snapshots and snippets of why they decided to participate in this project. And as a reader, avid readers, all of my friends who are avid readers, why this book will be inspirational and motivational for you. I want to go ahead and bring in Dr. Linda Bell Robinson. And if you go ahead and unmute your mic. One of the things that Dr. Sherry talked about that is important is that when putting this piece together is about restoration. And I would like for you to talk a little bit and touch a little bit about why you decided to be part of this project and why restoration should be part of the message as relates to this book and your role in this book.
Well, I wanted to do something to give back, not necessarily to someone I didn't know, but it became a project that will help a lot of people. I wanted to give back to my nieces, my nephews, and my son. I have a son and 2 grandkids. I'm a blended family.
Mm-hmm.
My son has 3 kids. But I wanted to give back something. And when I talked to Dr. Sherry, she said, well, you have a lot of stories to tell. And once we started getting involved in it, I found out I had probably 1 million stories to tell. But it is rewarding along the lines of the restoration to be able to say I'm leaving a legacy for somebody to, books won't go away, even though we have the internet, there will always be a book available for someone to research something. So my story is a simple story. It's not about abuse and it's not about a lot of dysfunctionality, but we all have that in our families. But it is about life. It talks about my many journeys and what was some small events that I made into very big events. But when I look back over them, they were events to bring me to where I'm sitting right now. So
Right.
That's really how I got all of that. Dr. Sherry was able to put all of that into a package and make it into the chapter that I eventually put together for.
Right. And she also talked about a book that empowers, and restores. And so you're sharing your chapter is really to empower other women based on the experiences that you've had in your life in order so they can see their stages. Process to power is, I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna give Dr. Sherry credit one time, and that's right now. And then I'm gonna use it from now on. There's a process to power, because oftentimes people think it's overnight, and restoration is not always from a traumatic situation. It could just be you worked for someone for 20 years and now you want to do something different and you have to find yourself. And that's part of restoration, because you can give of yourself, so much of yourself, into something for a very long time. And then you go into a new phase of life and you have to restore yourself and find what's next in my chapter. And I think sometimes we look at restoration as something negative from a negative situation. It could just be years and years of giving into something and making a new decision in your life. Yes, ma'am, you're going to say something.
Yeah, my chapter, I think I'm going to put it like this. It shares each stepping stone that I stepped on to a better stepping stone, to a bigger stepping stone.
I like that.
It lets people know you might get detoured a little bit, but if you just stay focused, you can come back to the main drag and get back on that next step. So that's kind of what my chapter is about.
I love that. I love that. I love that. That's encouraging. That's encouraging because sometimes we think we're stepping in the wrong direction, but you're saying each one eventually leads you to where you need to go. You just got to keep moving forward. Thank you,
And age
Dr.
has nothing to do with it.
Oh my.
You just stay focused. Stay focused. The best is yet to come.
I love that. Now, you know, she's preaching now, right? She's helping all of us young folks. Okay, now y'all don't
That's
be
right.
tripping over the small stuff. Keep moving forward.
Keep
Thank you,
moving
Dr.
forward.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. All right, Sandra, let's get to the Midwest. Let's talk a little bit about your project, your part of this project. And what I want to ask for you is as something that Alessi said, I'm going to get it right. She talked about headspace and she talked about challenge. And it was pretty much segueing into the discussion of how to overcome and win. Share with us why you decided to participate in this project and what was your journey like as relates to overcoming obstacles so that you can win.
Thank you first and foremost for having us again. When Dr. Sherry approached me, I was already in the process of writing my own story, The Power of Forgiveness, The Road to Healing and Restoration. And I prayed about it when she approached me. And we connected at such a great level, personally and spiritually. And I knew that she had something I needed. I'll say that she's a powerhouse, and because she had a global presence. And I remember being a woman of faith, some of the things that had been spoken over my life, that people would find me, that I wouldn't have to go looking, that they would find me. She found me. And I prayed about it. And because I know the number 3 is significant for me, and because this was the third Power Month, I felt that it was confirmation. And not only that, because I wanted to connect with other women of faith, and I wanted to broaden just my horizon outside of my local area. I wanted to connect with other women because I empower other women. And so I wanted to work with other women who had a similar purpose in empowering other women. And in terms of overcoming obstacles, the power of forgiveness in and of itself, or forgiveness, is a struggle for many people, and letting go of hurt and pain caused by others. And a lot of times when we're in that place of bitterness, resentment, we don't see our own selves. We typically play the blame game and we look at other people. But through my journey, I was taught that I had to look at the woman in the mirror, especially when the struggles or issues in my marriage arose that caused a separation. And during that time of separation, I begged God for a separation. Here I am looking at my husband when all the time God was setting me up for me to get my own healing, because I had buried so much pain and didn't even know it. And so on my road to healing, I discovered so many things, including that my calling was to help others heal from their woundedness, if you will. And so when I gave or forgave in my heart, it broke chains off of me. And God said, I remember so distinctly, I could hear the voice say to me, the Spirit of the Lord say to me, I put him in your life for you to save him. And if I was faithful and just to answer your prayers to expose him, then why wouldn't I be faithful and just to answer your prayers for his healing? So that transformed my mindset and my thinking. And then I said, okay, it's greater, it's bigger. And then my girlfriend, who is also a doctor, a counselor, if you will, she pulled me by the bootstraps and she said, Sandra, you didn't go through what you went through for nothing. You know, you have to get your healing. And she led me. God used her to lead me on my road to healing. And on my road to healing, the Lord put it in my spirit. And so this chapter I wrote is an extension, if you will, of my own book, but I give more insight and with the help of Dr. Sherry, so that we can give a different information, a different outcome, if you will, but at the same time, helping people to overcome. If I can do it, then they can have hope that if I was able to overcome, they can overcome as well.
I love it. I love it. Tell everybody where you're from and how many children you have. You're a mother of how many?
I am from Cleveland, Ohio. I am a mother. I'm a wife of 19 years, a mother of 3 adult children, 2 young women and a son, and I have 3 grandchildren.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, Araceli, how are you doing? Yes, ma'am. And
Hello.
thank you. Hi there. All right. So, process to power. We heard about empowering. We talked about restoration. What's next? What was your process to power as relates to writing your chapter? What was challenging for you, if you had any challenges? And what message or theme do you want someone to receive in reading your chapter of the book? I know I
Okay.
just asked you a whole bunch of questions, right? I just put them all right there.
I'm gonna try to wrap it all into one answer.
You know, you can do 5 answers. That's okay. You're good.
So my journey to being a part of this book, and how I felt that I transitioned into bringing power in would go back into the willingness and the want and the drive to win. And I think after talking to Dr. Sherry, that's kind of was what was brought out of me even more, is the drive to want to keep going and want to always aspire to do more, but within myself. And so that's why I feel like working with this book of these amazing women, it's so well to be in such good company, because I'm still in competition with myself. But as a group, we're all still winning with the accomplishment of writing this amazing Power Moms book. I think what was the most difficult for me to continue within writing was like the vulnerability of the story, because in my story I disclose things that I haven't disclosed to anyone. You wouldn't know the story unless maybe you were my mother or my sister. Outside of that story that leads up to the theme of my chapter, which is finding your invisible strength, is not a story that I've told before. But with talking with Dr. Sherry, I kind of realized that I'm sure there's more people that have went through something just like me, who didn't have a direction or didn't have a way to go. And so what I wanted to give back is I want to show others like the roadmap to finding your invisible strength. That's the outlining of my section of this book, is finding your invisible strength, which is finding how to move forward when you think you have no more to give, when you think that you don't have anything for you anymore. Everyone speaks of having that physical strength, but having that mental and emotional strength that only you can give yourself is what I want others to see. And when I was going through what I overcame, no one gave me a roadmap. And I think it's kind of like what Dr. Sherry said, women on this panel, we're very successful. We've made it where we want to be, or we've made it into the direction of where we're trying to lead ourselves. But for me, I always wanted that roadmap and that mentor, and that's what I didn't have. And so I feel like being a part of my story, and as well as the other women, we're providing that roadmap to a lot of people that did not have it and do not see people like us, the African American woman who is learning to be successful through adversity. And so that's kind of what I like enjoy about the book and what I enjoy about my chapter. So if I give anything away, or what I want people to take away, is that it's okay to fall down and get into a slump, but you're going to find that strength and that power that comes when you least expect it to continue to move forward.
Yeah, I love that. You hit a lot of things. You talked about competition with self, vulnerability. You even talked about that roadmap and that mentorship. And you know, that always seems to be a challenge for a lot of us as we're trying to move forward, or as we are moving forward. We're looking for a roadmap, and part of that roadmap, we're looking for a mentor, someone who will share their experiences and invest in discussions with us to help us to be able to not walk through a landmine situation, more or less. And we're not saying not paying dues, because we know at the end of the day, we have to pay dues. Dr. Linda said that you just got to keep moving forward, which is true. But mentorship is important, and that helps with seeing not just a small picture, but the big picture, and not just in the big picture, but also going into and zooming into the small picture. So I appreciate you bringing up that information and sharing that with us, which is so very, very important. With that, and even to Sandra, thank you for talking about restoration and looking in the mirror, right? Sometimes we do point the blame in everyone else, and we're asking the Lord to fix them, Lord, fix them. And we're praying that they get it right. We're praying that they find Jesus real quick because they have sinned and fallen short, not understanding that we might have been the one that's shaking up the foundation. And so I'm loving the story. I have people that are watching that are just enjoying this whole dynamic and this discussion. I'm going to keep moving forward, and then we're going to just continue with the girls talk, and again, focusing on the book, making sure people who are watching this know that they can get a copy of your stories in this amazing project. And this is not the first one that Dr. Sherry put together, but baby, it's number 3. I'm with you on the third one. You know, that's biblical, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So it's all about that. All right, let me get the next person. Let's have some fun. Continue to have some fun. And we have Kanita. Kanita, can you go ahead and open your mic? And thank you for joining. So you are a winner. Yes, ma'am. And so Dr. Sherry reached out to you. Tell me, why did you decide to participate in this particular project? And what is the theme and the message in your chapter?
Yes, I decided after saying no several times.
Right. All right. Her stream is coming in and out. Your stream is coming in and out. You working on it? So yeah, it's coming in and out. So I'm going to have you come back, and we're going to let Shannon go ahead and open up your mic for me, Shannon. And then Kanita, we're going to come back to you and see if we can get your mic and your stream. Go ahead and talk and see if we can hear you. Let me see. Say something and see if we can hear you. Yeah, so she's still streaming. Okay, that's okay. We're gonna hold. We're not gonna go without hearing your story. Okay, so we're gonna hear your story. Probably just come back in, go out and come back in, and we're gonna go with Shannon. Shannon, how are you doing today? Shannon got the backdrop. She said, "Y'all can't see what's going on in my crib. I'm gonna put the backdrop," which I understand. I love your backdrop. Shannon, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you are located, and why you decided to participate in this particular project.
Yes, so I'm Shannon Gooden, and I'm located in Kansas City, Missouri, and Midwest. I decided to do this project because I felt it was an opportunity for me to be able to give back and to empower other women, especially as myself, as being a single woman. My chapter is on shifting your mindset to abundance. So I come from a financial standpoint. So my story is a little bit different. However, it does talk about, me being a single mother trying to go after my goals, trying to become.
They couldn't even do my interview.
Uh-oh, we hear you, Kanita. We hear you. That's okay. It's good. It's working. So you hold tight. That's a beautiful thing. Go ahead, Shannon.
But helping others become financially independent. And it's very important as a single mom to be able to offer other single moms the blueprint on how to become financially independent, how to build wealth for their children, and how to leave a legacy. And, I once was told that from a very wealthy individual that their ceiling will be their children's floor. And that spoke to me a lot, because that means that they are building something so big and so massive that when their children come on the platform, the foundation's already set. And as mothers, as single women, and as myself, I want to be able to spend more time with my son. I want to be able to live a life and live the life that I desire and the life that God desires for us to live in abundance. And so I want to put something together so I can be financially independent. And I know as a people, and as a people, I definitely want to break that cycle of financial bondage and to create a mindset to help conquer the financial fears that we face, and to help everyone, and women and single women, to become financially free. And it was something very new for me and different after going through my divorce. And now I'm doing this alone. It makes it that much more, rewarding, and that much more that I want to push forward and to give my son abundance and to live a life of abundance. So I want to be able to share that and empower other women, no matter what they've gone through, no matter what their situation is, no matter where their background's from, they can and they will achieve, the financial abundance. Long as they have faith and believe and go after their goals, they are able to obtain those.
Yeah. I like what you just said. That was a challenge for me when you gave that quote to make, my ceiling, my children's floor. That's a huge quote. I love that quote. That just put a challenge on me to say, why are you doing everything that you're doing? That what that does is it makes me to say, I always have to think about the future, and the future is not my future. It's my children's future. And as moms, all of your moms, that's a very good point that you brought out, Shannon, from a financial perspective. And that's very important because that creates legacies of wealth, right? And we have to start thinking more about not just our future, but the future of our children and our children's children. So I love that. We need to make sure we get connected to you so we can get our money straight. And so we can create this ceiling so that our children can stand on top of it and make it their floor. But not only that, creating that pattern, right, of behavior financially, so that they too can think the same way. Because I love that.
Yeah. And that's
yes,
what about.
Yeah, I love it. And that's your chapter. So I love that. That's empowering women. Dr. Sherry, you own it, doggone it. You got all these wonderful women. Give us some. I have a whole bunch of quotes. I'm going to create my Power Mom quote book. Because you, the ladies, are doing an amazing job. Let's see, Kanita, your mic is working now. It was working earlier. Let's see if we can hear you. Can you go ahead and say something? It froze on her again.
Yeah,
That's okay.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, because I know she has some wonderful things to say.
I may try to switch to my phone audio.
Okay, go ahead and switch to your phone, Kanita, because we do not want interruption. We need you to say what you have to say. I just feel like you get ready to bring it home. You're going to hit that home run. So I need you to call in on your phone, okay? It's enough of us when we can chit chat until you get back on here, okay? So I'm waiting on you to call in. Go ahead and do that for me. All right. So now we've gotten the introduction out, and we have a lot of people that are watching us, and you all have shared this wonderful story. If you don't know who I'm talking to, let me just give you the 411. I am talking to some amazing, beautiful women who are a part of this amazing collaboration that Dr. Sherry, who's the visionary, have put together. The title of the book, the collaborative book, is Power Moms 3.0. This book is going to be available in this BOOKtique, of course. But right now, they just launched the book, and the book was launched this past weekend. So Dr. Sherry, why don't you go ahead and share the website information of where individuals can go to your website to find out more about this collaboration and the wonderful women who are part of this collaboration.
Absolutely. I just want to give a quick shout out to the Power Moms. We launched this weekend and we went #1 Amazon bestseller in our category. I am so proud. This book was a year birthing in process, and these Power Mom books don't normally take a full year, but the way that it was positioned, the way God had, we just grew closer in the process. So I'm just so excited and so proud of this group of Power Moms. So you can go and you can find the book on Amazon. It will be up on Barnes and Nobles next week, Walmart.com, but you can also go to powermomsbook.com. So that's again, www.powermomsbook.com, and you can go on there, read the bios. You can purchase directly from any of the Power Moms that you connect with. You can purchase directly from them, and they'll get your book over to you. If you want it, if you need to have this by tomorrow, then go to Amazon and purchase the book. We have the Kindle version as well as the paperback, so they can just go on, and by next week it will be available wherever books are sold.
Exactly.
Including your boutique. So,
Where's the love? Where's the love, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. This coming Saturday, we do have it scheduled. And Alessi, I'm just going to mess up her name. I'm going to say Miss Johnson. I want to say her first name because she's such a beautiful person. She's going to be here this Saturday at 6 p.m. And doing a book signing. So if you want a copy of the book in person and you want to hug and squeeze this wonderful, beautiful sister, Alessi, go ahead and tell them. Did I say it right this time?
Yes, Alessi.
Alessi. Let me tell you, she said it's the way it looks from Louisiana. I said, girl, I'm from Midwest Chicago. It looks, it sounds and looks totally different. So go ahead and share with everybody about what's coming up this Saturday, and we're going to try to get Kanita back in.
Yes. So again, Ms. Jean, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. So this Saturday at 6 p.m. at Enda's BOOKtique. She's located in Duncanville for anybody who is viewing, and I am going to be doing a drive-by book launch. So you'll be able to hear from me. I talk a little bit about the Power Moms. I'll give you an overview of the book in person, and I'll also be signing the book where the book will be sold in the bookstore. You'll also be able to take a picture with me, a photo op if you need.
Just wear your mask.
Yes, wear your mask. We are following the COVID guidelines. So thank you again, Ms. Jean, for this opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. Kanita, are we good? We're going to unmute and see if we can hear you.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm sorry. I hollered for rescue. Babe, help me.
Listen,
I'm
let me tell
sorry,
you something.
Shannon.
As moms, we have permission to not get it right a couple of times. We've earned that. So
Well, you know, I have learned that perfection is for no one. We strive for it, and I'm one of those that would normally get upset when my internet fails me. But hey, I'm here. I'm happy to be here. I'm thankful for Dr. Sherry. Can y'all hear me okay?
yes, ma'am. We're good so far.
All right. All right. So, yes, I am Kanita Lewis Harrison. I am a funeral industry expert. I love, as Dr. Sherry said, caring for others. And unfortunately, it's in the most difficult time of their lives when they have lost a loved one. However, I love giving back in my community, preparing people for the inevitable, and making sure that they know how important it is to be ready. And one of the things that Dr. Sherry and I connected and we talked about is telling the story. And I said no quite a few times because my plate remains full at all times. However, I decided to say yes after speaking with her and understanding that you have a story and someone else can be inspired by hearing it. So my chapter is about breaking free from your comfort zone to live your best life now. I did learn through trials and being a mother of 3 and a wife that you are an overcomer. And yes, you can persevere. And by doing so, it takes you out of your comfort zone when you pursue the things that God has set before you and you remove yourself from familiarity. You know, I believe that it can be an enemy to us when we get comfortable and we want to stay in our little sweet, cozy nest. But then we must decide at times to leave that space of comfort and go out and break free from where we are to enter into our best life. So I had a chance to write about it, tell my story. I mean, one of the things I love about it, she made me dig deep. It wasn't easy, but I had to dig a little and really it was emotional. You have these roller coaster moments where you cry a little because you're like, wow, I went through that. And then you rejoice because you're like, wow, I went through that, you know? So I just, you know, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm so excited to be a part of this. And thank you for bearing with me with my internet issues and allowing me to speak, because it is so important that other people take advantage of this opportunity to get the book and really take things away from it that can make their lives better. And I just hope that somebody, even if one person is impacted by what they read, then our work is done. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for not giving up and sticking with it. Sticking with it. All right. I want to do a quick wrap up and ask this question. We are now preparing to celebrate for the first time a woman of color, a sister who is going to be the vice president of the United States where we live today. And so another power mom, right? and we get a chance to, for the next 4 years, be able to watch a power mom who is going to be in our national office, partner and lead in partnership with our new president-elect, Joe Biden. When the election and the numbers came in, and the announcement was, forthtelling, of course, in a very slow pace because of what was going on with Washington, D.C., and the current president not really wanting to concede. But still, the message is there and clear. We have, for the first time, history has been made where we have a sister who is the vice president, will be the vice president of the United States. When you came to realize that as a power mom and seeing this power mom make it happen, how did you feel about that? And how did that inspire you even to be, as you were part of this collaboration, like the time that we're doing this perfect timing? This is exactly what we're talking about, propelling us to the next level. People are hearing our stories. They're knowing our stories. They're understanding that we're not a sad story. We are women who overcome. We are the women who process to power. So I'm going to start with you, Dr. Sherry, and then we're going to move around and open up the mic for each person to be able to provide your thoughts as it relates to that and how that connects to you as a power mom being part of this amazing project.
Absolutely. Well, that's a very good question. Thank you for posing that to us. I started on the entrepreneurship journey, I would say about 12 or 13 solid years, but I had dabbled in it for about 18 years. When I first came out with my business, I started as an event planner in Miami, Florida. I didn't put my face on my website because I knew people wouldn't book me because I was a Black woman. So I was in a luxury space doing events with prominent people, but I was ashamed. I guess got to put the name to it. I was ashamed to put my face because I didn't want to lose out on business. And over the years, I had to learn that, people have to learn to accept me for who I am. And after taking that mask off, after probably about the first 3 or 4 years in business, I started to realize that being myself allowed doors. People liked me for me, right? I understood it wasn't about the color of my skin. So I started working with people from a lot of different races, Indian, Jewish. I started doing weddings for people, and that's what that global aspect came about. I say all of that to say that it's amazing to be in this time because I know what it's like to be on the other side. I know what it's like to say, wow, can I really do it? Because people have put limitations on me, not the limitations I put on myself, but what other people have put on me because of the color of my skin. Or they assume I'm a certain way because I wear my hair in braids or certain things that I do. So it's a very pivotal time right now. And honestly, I'm excited. But my power really comes from the women that I get to connect with, so right. Although I'm excited on what's going on in history, and I don't want to take away from that because this is beautiful, but being able to be with these women, people that get you, that connect with you, that lock arms with you, as far as I'm concerned, we were already in the White House, so I just wanted to add that. But yeah, it's an amazing time right now.
Yeah, and you're right. That connection and knowing that your vote is your voice, but we have to even understand we've always had a voice, right? And now the platform is there so people can really see that the voice has already existed and who we are. So I love that you said that. And so I'm going to hold it right there. I'm going to give Kanita an opportunity to respond to my question as it relates to being a power mom. We have one now that's in the White House, that will be in the White House in January officially. What were your thoughts? How did you feel about that, being a power mom yourself? And how does that encourage you in your journey? You got to unmute yourself, though, Kanita. We want to hear you.
It encourages me because it takes me back to a story, actually, in my chapter. As a little girl, I sat in my grandfather's living room and reading material would litter the table because he made sure we took that time in. And it's a magazine, Ebony, would have features with oval photos of women and men of influence. And I would flip through those pages and I would stop and I would say, look at this. I'm going to be like her. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to be like, And my grandpa would say, that's right, you can do it. So now all the little girls like me who had to use Ebony magazine, because that's what we had, right?
Mhm.
They get to look on TV. They get to look
Right.
right into the White House and see a woman of color doing something, right, that has not happened, make
Yeah.
history, which I believe almost every woman on this platform has had some type of historical moment. I remember leaving Alexandria, Louisiana, and coming to Houston and working at a funeral home, starting from scratch 20 years later. First time African-American woman in a leadership role, highest role in the field in my location. That's never happened at this
Right.
location. In 100 years, 2024 will be 100 years, our location has been established.
Yeah.
So what are we learning from this? That all things are possible to him who believes, male or female alike. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for the example set. And I'm grateful for all the young women who have someone to look up to and know that all things are possible.
I love it. God is no respecter of persons. Yes, he opens door for everyone. Your gift makes room for you. I love that. Thank you, ma'am. All right, Shannon, what were your thoughts? We have a woman of color who is will be the vice president of this United States. She is a power mom. You've been a power mom. You talked about finances. You talked about being a single mom and overcoming obstacles. And of course, you came up with that amazing statement where our ceiling that we hit will be the platform that our children stand on from a financial perspective. So how do you see where Kamala Harris is going to be our new vice president? How does that encourage you? She being a power mom and you being a power mom as well.
I would piggyback off of Kenita. As she said, all things is possible, through God. And I believe that all it does is just show confidence, a confident woman. And I mean, it's definitely changing the way the world, what they're used to seeing. And I think it's amazing because, when you turn on, the TV, you have a face that looks like another African-American face, or a little girl, who is dreaming to be something, and maybe their dreams were crushed of what they're used to seeing, in certain positions. So it definitely gives them confidence as other young, African-American girls or boys. But I definitely believe, like I said, Kanita said, that through God, anything is possible. Never stop dreaming. Go after what you believe. Anyone, honestly, can be in a position they want to be in, and not allowing people to stop them if they so choose to go after it. And just like, I hope I'm saying her name right, Kamala.
Kamala Harris.
She went out, I believe that other African-American women can also go and do the same. And we're all power moms, whether we're in the White House or whether we're not in the White House. So those are my views on it. I think that it is, it's great. And I'm glad that we're changing what we are used to seeing and allowing for our children to see something different as well.
Love it. Thank you. Araceli, share with us your thoughts from about a power mom who will now be the vice president of the United States from your perspective as a power mom yourself.
All right. So I think when it happened for me, I looked at it more as in from a leadership perspective, and being a power mom in that aspect. So to preface that, I forgot to state that. So for my industry, I'm a senior leader in the logistics industry and I'm also the mom of an amazing son. And what I always tell him, and he tells me, what am I going to be for when I grow up? He's always trying to tell me. And I say, I don't care what you are, just be the leader of it. Be the top of that. And so from a leadership perspective, everyone knows a lot of times, like you're going on conferences and things of that nature. And so for me personally, I always think there's not a lot of us that look like that in a leadership role. And so when you're going into these roles, it's kind of like how Dr. Sherry said when she said she didn't used to post her picture online. When I'm going into all these conferences, I want to look a certain way to where I'm blending in more because I am African American. So I'm only wearing my hair a certain way. I'm only wearing certain outfits so that I'm not standing out because we're not all the way up there. So where it should be a moment of being proud because yes, it's not many of us and I'm here. It was more of let me not try to be too loud or too robust so that we can remain here. And so from a leadership perspective and her being a mom and now she's in this prominent position of leadership, it's kind of setting that tone for us and young girls and young women of African American, that we can also be in these such powerful roles of leadership and still be a mom and still be so relatable. And so for me, her making this accomplishment, I feel like me walking into just something so small as a boardroom, I'm going to walk in more confident, because I'm going to say we belong here and we are in high places of power and we've gotten here because we've earned it. And so for me, that's what kind of, I was like, when she got some power, I was like, we have made it. We are up there. So for me, it's more so being a power mom, and a power mom in leadership is what really touched me.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you for that. Oh, I know all of us are like, another win. First we had the first lady. Now we've got the vice president. So it's like, yeah, so a good, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Sandra, as a power mom, we now have another power mom in the White House. Of course, our first lady, Michelle Obama, was the first power mom in the White House. Now we have a power mom who is the vice president of the United States and making history. So, and just a mother across the board for all races, just to have a female in the VP role. And she's a mom, she's a wife, she, of course, has her career. Share with us your thoughts from being a power mom and seeing one that's now in the role of a vice president. What were your thoughts as it relates to that?
Well, first, I concur with everyone has spoken, but it also reminded me of a time when in my career path, like Shannon, I too am an accountant, but I have been a career internal auditor. And many times as an African-American woman, it's been a very small, like 1%. And even when it comes to African-Americans in general, it's been like 1% among many men. And if we think about politics, it's a dominant field pretty much where you see men in the White House in that type of leadership role. And it reminded me of the time I was hired to start an audit shop from scratch, where I reported to the CEO and CFO. And I used to have to report to the board of directors, which was predominantly Caucasian men. And I was the only minority in the company and the only minority in a room of all of them. And having the respect, they gave me the respect and having the credibility. So she earned her way to the top. And so since she earned her way to the top, she'll have that voice that is necessary. But what I also believe that it's a God movement that is going on with women rising in power and women having a voice, that voice in the wilderness being able to be heard, that's coming forth. All of us have been in the wilderness and now our voices are being heard. So it's a time for women coming forth and being heard because we've been silent a long time.
I love that. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Our voice is so very important as relates to every role and aspect of what's going on in each position, whether we are moms, when we are working in the boardroom, when we are at the church in leadership. Our voices are very, very important and relevant. So I appreciate you talking about that and sharing that perspective. Eureka, you are next. So share with us as a power mom how it felt seeing a power mom finally getting into the role of being the VP of the United States of America, and how did that inspire you?
I mean, it was a wonderful thing to witness, and for me, my chapter, Confident Woman. I mean, her face could have been plastered on the front page of my chapter. So yeah, I was excited to witness that, and I think it's a wonderful thing. Because even like for myself, being a Massage Envy franchise owner, I'm the only African-American franchisee in the Houston area. So when I'm at the franchisee meetings, I'm the only one in there of color. I do have a partner, but I'm the one that works in the business. So, all my franchisee partners, they're all wonderful, but again, it's different being the only African American in the room of the franchise owners. Not to say that I'm the only one that's been African American. There's been others, but currently I am the only one in the room.
Right.
So I think it's a great thing. I think it is just continuing to open doors for African American women as well as men.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to go to Dr. Linda. Dr. Linda, go ahead and share with us your perspective as relates to a mom. And we now have a power mom who is the VP of the United States. How did you feel about that? And how was that inspirational to you?
I was just ecstatic. I danced across the sofa. I danced across the room. My chapter of the book talks about a lot of firsts. I've had firsts in my life. My background is law enforcement. I was among the first women to hit the street in a police car. So I understand, I have some understanding of where she is right now, but dittoing everything that has been said, I could not have been prouder of her. Her voice is going to be a strong voice because she's a strong woman. And she's going to take the lead on a lot of things that will benefit women of all colors, not just women of a brown color or yellow color or green, all women. She's going to work many avenues and have many stepping stones for all women. I'm just excited about it. I'm just delighted about it. I'm delighted about the whole campaign process because that's my passion now, is getting people to register to vote and to go out and vote. But I was ecstatic, very ecstatic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited as well and ecstatic, like you said. And that dancing, I love to hear when you say you just dancing on the couch. You know, that's old school shouting, baby, when you do that. Yes. Everybody don't know nothing about that. That's old school shouting, doing your dance and just being ecstatic. And you're right. She has a strong voice, and I'm appreciative of that because oftentimes having a strong voice, many people use that as a weapon against women. And of course, but if we're not strong, then we're timid and we're not strong enough to handle it. So of course, it's always a catch-22, but I'm appreciative of the fact that she navigated and was able to maintain who she is. And I do look forward to her continue to use her voice to make a difference in the world that we live in. And of course, in this nation that we are citizens in. Alessi, you can unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. You are next.
Yes, for me, I was definitely ecstatic, you know, and I also was motivated, but I really feel that for women of all races, they are beginning to rise up and the time is now. And, you know, I just have to thank God that he is allowing me to be a part of that movement when I didn't see myself as a part of it. Yeah. You know, one of the things that Kanita said, you know, a lot of us were first. Mm-hmm. And in many areas of our lives, including myself, as young as I am, I was the youngest on-air personality for a local radio station in Lafayette. To work on the grown folks side, you know. And for me, as I was writing my bio, which you can see on the website of powermomsbook.com, I had to take a step back and I was like, oh God, I did do that. I was a first. And so I'm excited because it's a time for women. And if you look at the business reports, you know, especially women of color, there are more Black female business owners that are out there right now, and it's projected to increase more for small-owned businesses. Sure. So I'm excited about that. And you know, my daughter and we were watching the acceptance speech, and one thing that stuck out to me was when she was looking at the screen. She looks back at me and she says, "Mommy, that's a woman." And I said, you better say it, girl. You better say it. She didn't say Black woman. She didn't say white woman. She said, that's a woman. Mm-hmm. And to me, that was the most powerful thing that she could have said. And so I'm excited to be in position to be her mother and for her to see not color, but a woman and a woman doing it. So I'm just very proud for Miss Kamala.
Fantastic. Thank you all, ladies. You have been amazing. Thank you so much for sharing information about your role as it relates to this book and your perspective in life. And then also your perspective as it relates to the outcome of this election. This book is an amazing book. We are so excited that it was launched and released this weekend. Congratulations on the pathway that the book is already taking. It is just taken off. And so I get a chance to interview you all, which is a privilege for me. When I read your biographies, when I read the snapshot of who you were and who you are and how everybody came together, I just felt like that I was like, oh, I already asked Dr. Sherry why I know why I didn't get called in. My resume and bio is definitely nowhere near on the level of these wonderful women. You guys are experts and all the things that you do, and even how you are able to articulate that information. Dr. Sherry, let's go ahead and give your website and social media handles so individuals who want to follow you, follow this book, be able to go to the book website to learn more about each person that is co-authoring this book. Can you please share the social media information?
Absolutely. And again, this has been fun. Like, this is our first interview. We're all excited. You know, we're smiling and giving each other virtual high fives. We can't wait to do this in person when we don't have to be with masks and social distancing. Right. But like you said, we said earlier, the book website is powermomsbook.com. All of our contact information is on that website. You literally can click through each woman and find their information, as well as social media. We're on Facebook, Power Moms Book. We're also on Instagram. I am also on my website is iamsherrywalton.com. That's Sherry with 2 R's, I-E, Walton.com. That's also my social media. LinkedIn is Dr. Sherry. You usually can just kind of find me on any of those platforms. But like I said, if you go through the main Power Mom site, you'll be able to connect to everyone with their information, their social media contact information as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies, again, for joining and participating in this. And thank you to all of you who are watching us live on Facebook. And again, to those of you who will watch this later on, or even when we flip it over to our YouTube channel, we want to thank you for your support. Again, to get copies of the book, you can go to our website. We will have a book signing event, a handoff event this coming Saturday at 6 p.m. So, Alessi will be, I'm getting it right? I'm getting it right. I got to get the Louisiana in me. She will be here Saturday at 6 p.m. where she's going to sign off on books. So definitely, if you want to come and get your copy of the book, or if you purchase it in advance and you have a copy, bring it here so she can go ahead and sign off on it. We're located in Duncanville, Texas. It's 428 North Main Street. And our website is www.endasbookttique.com. Well, thank you all for joining us again. This has been fun for me. I love hanging out with powerful, amazing women, and you are definitely power moms. And so I get a chance to say that I knew them at the very beginning, because I just have a feeling that I'm not going to be able to get on your list in a couple of weeks, because you're going to be so very busy doing what you do. And I have that expectations of you, because you're already doing it a great job. You're already doing some amazing things in our community. So again, for those of you who want more information, you can go to their website. You can go to our website. I'm going to do my best and my duty to make sure we continue to put this book out there. It's already doing great, but it can do greater when you purchase that book. So don't just watch and high five us, put the money on the table, baby. Make this a Christmas book, a birthday book, gift or something. Make sure this is part of your collection, whether you e-read it, whether you audio this book, whether you download this book, or you purchase the manual, the actual copy of this book. And then let me tell you this, don't just purchase it for yourself, purchase it for someone else that you know who needs to be encouraged, who needs to be restored, who needs to be empowered. Make sure you get a copy of this book for yourself and get a copy of this book for your friend. And those of you who are part of reading clubs, book clubs, make sure that this is on that list so that you can engage with each other and talk about some good stuff, because there's some good stuff out here in this book. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. You have an amazing Tuesday. Make sure you stay coronavirus free, stay safe, wear that mask. Forget what everybody else is saying. Wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, and take care of yourself. We love you and God bless.